All right, let's just get right into it. There's this crazy idea out there, this myth that traditional martial arts like Shotokan, Karate, Tang Soo are completely useless once a fight hits the ground. People will tell you with absolute certainty that these are purely striking arts. They say that if you're a Shotokan guy and you get taken down by someone who knows even a little bit of jiu-jitsu, you're done. You might as well just tap out to save yourself the embarrassment. That narrative is everywhere, man. Gyms, forums, comment sections. It has become this accepted truth, a piece of common knowledge that nobody really questions anymore. But here's the thing about accepted truths. A lot of them are just flat out wrong. They're oversimplifications. They're lazy takes from people who haven't dug deep enough. It's like saying a wolf can't swim. It might prefer to be on land. It might not be a fish. But if it falls in the water, it knows how to survive. It has innate tools it can use to get back to where it's strongest. These martial arts are kind of the same way. They have foundational principles that are surprisingly applicable on the mat. So the real question we have to ask is not if these arts have any ground skills, but what are those skills and how can they be used? What hidden tools are buried inside those ancient katas, one-step sparring drills? Can a person dedicated to Shotokan or Tang Soo actually develop a functional, effective response if a real-world confrontation or an MMA fight goes to the canvas? The answer is a resounding yes, but it comes with a giant asterisk. It requires you to look at your training with new eyes, to understand the limitations, and to be willing to evolve. The common story you hear about Shotokan Tang Soo is that they are relics of a bygone era. They are often portrayed as arts focused exclusively on perfecting punches, kicks, blocks from a static, upright position. The training methodology is heavily reliant on kata, which are prearranged sequences of movements practiced alone. To an outsider, or even to a beginner, these forms can look like a dance. They seem disconnected from the fluid, unpredictable nature of a real fight. People see the long, deep stances and the powerful linear strikes and conclude that this kind of training has no answer for a double-leg takedown or a rear naked choke. This perspective isn't entirely without merit, and we have to acknowledge that. If you walk into a typical dojo or dojang today, you are unlikely to see students spending half the class rolling on the mats. The curriculum is overwhelmingly focused on stand-up fighting. The goal, often explicitly stated, is to end the confrontation in a single decisive blow before it can ever go to the ground. This philosophy is baked into the very DNA of these arts. They were developed in contexts where facing multiple opponents was a real possibility, and getting tied up with one person on the ground could be a death sentence. The emphasis in many arts is on maintaining distance, so grappling elements are often undertaught or forgotten. Moves within kata that could be throws or locks are explained away as simple blocks, watering down the art. So when a practitioner gets manhandled on the ground by a grappler, it seems to confirm the critics. But this isn't a failure of the art, but of modern training. The tools are there, but students aren't shown how to use them. Shotokan karate is built on generating maximum force by driving from the ground and rotating the hips. But this explosive power isn't just for punches. On the ground, that same hip drive is the foundation of a successful bridge, creating space and disrupting your opponent's base. Strong stances teach you to root to the ground, which is invaluable in a grappling scramble. And Shotokan's emphasis on structural frames keeps an opponent's weight off you, creating space to escape or transition. These hidden jewels are everywhere. It's not about a long, drawn-out battle of attrition with a grappler. One clean, efficient movement to get back to your knees or to your feet where you have the advantage. Finally, using an opponent's force against them is central to Shotokan, even if arts like Aikido made it famous. When someone drives into you on the ground, you don't just push back, you redirect the energy. A slight turn of the hips combined with a strong frame sends their momentum past you, breaking control and creating an opening, subtle but powerful. You look at a Shotokan kata like Heian Godan and you see a jump. A lot of people laugh at that. They say, what are you going to do, jump on somebody in a fight? But what if that jump isn't a jump at all? What if it's teaching you how to explosively get back to your feet from a grounded position? What if the cross-legged stance that follows is a way to trap an opponent's leg as you stand up? Senior instructors who understand these applications, or bunkai, can show you how movements in the forms are a library of responses to being grabbed, pushed, taken down. A simple looking block can be a joint lock. A low level stance transition can be a sweep or a takedown defense. Now let's switch gears to Tang Soo Do. While it shares ancestry with Japanese karate, Tang Soo Do often uses a wider variety of techniques: kicks, hand strikes, grappling takedown techniques, throws, sweep strips. Not complex like judo, but simple, effective techniques to off-balance an opponent and put them on the floor. Transition from striking to grappling, hand combination leg sweep, hip throw, crucial for MMA and real-world self-defense, move seamlessly between ranges, Chinese influences, Korean influences, Okinawan influences. Forms one-step sparring drills. Block, wrist grab, pull, off balance for a takedown, dynamic kicking, weapons for striking, hip flexibility, balance, leg dexterity, guard retention recovery, create frames, wrap up an opponent, getting your guard past, maintaining a safe position, conditioning from kicking postures, core strength to resist and escape bad spots on the mat, like Shotokan, falling, rolling, knack bup. This is a fundamental survival skill. Knowing how to absorb the impact of a throw prevents injury and allows you to be active the moment you hit the ground. A good practitioner doesn't just fall, they fall into a position where they can immediately scramble back to their feet or defend themselves. Training to be comfortable with the chaos of falling and getting up is a massive psychological and physical advantage in a real fight, which rarely stays in one place for very long. The history of Tang Soo Do is a story of synthesis. Its founder, Hyung was exposed to a variety of martial arts: Korean Subak, Chinese martial arts, Okinawan karate. This melting pot of influences is a big reason Tang Soo Do feels more eclectic than rigid Japanese karate. This openness to outside ideas meant techniques for throwing, sweeping, and joint manipulation were incorporated early. The art was less dogmatic and more focused on practical effectiveness. This inherent adaptability is a huge strength. It gives the art a precedent for evolution. When modern martial artists realized the importance of ground fighting, Tang Soo Do schools could more easily add grappling elements. It wasn't a betrayal, but a continuation of synthesis. You still see Tang Soo Do masters who are high level in other arts and integrate those skills. Hapkido Judo. Think about the forms, or Hyungs. They have low stances, level changes, and movements. Low stances, level changes, movements. These can be defenses against takedowns or setups or throws. For example, a low block followed by a rising hand motion could be a defense against a single leg takedown, stuff the head and circle out. An instructor who sees this can turn Hyung into a grappling training tool. The movements are already there, waiting to be unlocked. This legacy influenced some famous fighters. Chuck Norris, the best known Tang Soo Do practitioner, was famous for his fighting prowess. He was primarily a striker, he cross-trained extensively, and he founded Chunkuk Do to include grappling techniques learned from others, including the Machado brothers. Okay, let's be brutally honest. Put a 10-year traditional artist against a 10-year BJJ black belt, and the traditional artist gets dismantled. It's a lesson, not a contest. Specialized grappling arts like BJJ are light years ahead on the ground. They've spent centuries focused on one problem: how to control and submit someone, training through live resistance sparring. Traditional arts focus on escape, not dominance. Their superior footwork and distance management can help keep the fight standing, making takedowns harder. It's not which art is better. That's a dumb question. It's about knowing strengths and weaknesses. A pure grappler is a fish. A pure striker is a bird. In water, the fish wins. In air, the bird wins. The complete fighter can fight on the beach, in the shallows, and in the air. Shotokan and Tang Soo Do principles balance power, timing, framing, help a striker survive on the ground. But they are never a substitute for dedicated live grappling training. Consider a practical example. Imagine you're on your back and an opponent is in your guard. A common Shotokan drill involves practicing a sharp, snapping kick from a seated or supine position. This isn't just for exercise, it's a tool. A powerful kick to the opponent's hips or thighs can break their posture and create the distance you need to scramble up. Combine this with the explosive hip bridge we talked about, and you have a two-part escape strategy. Bridge to create space, then use your legs to push them away as you get to your knees or feet. It's a simple, direct solution, which is the very essence of the Shotokan philosophy. If you train a striking art like Shotokan or Tang Soo Do, you don't have to abandon it to prepare for the ground. just supplemented intelligently. The goal isn't to become a grappler, but to be difficult to take down and hold down so you can get back to your feet. First, master the technical stand-up. From your back, get to your elbow, then your hand, post a foot, and stand with a protective frame. This is your escape hatch. Second, learn to sprawl. When someone shoots for a takedown, kick your legs back and drive your hips to the mat. This is your first line of defense. Third, practice basic escapes from the most common bad positions, the mount, side control. You don't need 100 techniques. Focus on the UPA, the bridge and roll. Focus on the shrimp the hip escape. These two movements are the foundation of almost every BJJ escape. Spend 2 minutes at the end of each class practicing these with a compliant partner. Bridge to make space. Shrimp to move your hips into that space. Work your way back to guard or back to your feet. Finally, connect these skills to your existing art. Practice moving from a sprawled position back to your fighting stance. Drill going from a successful technical stand-up directly into a striking combination. Practice your front kicks. Practice your side kicks. Use them to manage distance and stop a grappler from getting close enough to shoot. Integrate grappling survival with your striking strengths. You're not just a striker anymore, you're a fighter who can handle the chaos wherever the fight goes. Shotokan and Tang Soo were never complete grappling systems, but their power, timing, balance are incredibly useful for survival. The problem isn't the art, it's a dogmatic approach that refuses to evolve. The path forward is to adapt and train smart. Have the humility to learn takedown defense and positional escapes. Apply your art's principles to new problems, honoring it by making it living and effective today. We have just passed the 400 subscribers mark. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe. Let us work together to work towards 500 subscribers by the end of the 2025 year. If you want more, select the video on your screen and I will see you there.